In the last video, I mentioned that I wanted to clarify some of the terminology that we'll be using in this course. The goal of this video is to get everyone on the same page and clarify some of the lingo. I'm going to start by defining what personal knowledge management is, before moving on to unpacking the term building a second brain. At the end of this video, we'll do an exercise to map the inputs and outputs that your second brain is going to support you with. From the top, what is personal knowledge management, or PKM? PKM is a new term to describe an old problem. How do we make sense of the world and turn the information we gather and store into action? Maybe you're trying to get through history class or write your dissertation for a PhD. Maybe you've gone down the internet rabbit hole into some fascinating topic, but you don't want to forget everything by next week. Maybe you're putting together a grocery list or tracking who's who in your new job and how they're relevant to your aspirations. All this information can be kind of overwhelming and lead to information overload. And then, burnout, stressed, missing files and missed deadlines. We don't want that, so having a system tuned for your specific needs and goals and information diet is essential. In summary, PKM is about how to deal with all the information flying your way. Personal knowledge management is the broader field of which building a second brain is just one methodology. Other methods and systems include August Bradley's Pillars, Pipelines and Vaults system, or the Zettelkasten method. Okay, that's all you need to know before beginning to build, but if you want to find out more about personal knowledge management, I've left a few videos in the bonus module for you to check out. Otherwise, save them for the end and let's get into defining building a second brain. This term, building a second brain, or the acronym BASB, was really brought to fame by Tiago Forte, who created the original Building a Second Brain course. Building a second brain, in a nutshell, relates to three main components. The first component is the digital note-taking system, which we'll be building in Notion. This note-taking system uses a novel structure for creating notes called PARA, which stands for Projects, Areas, Resources, and Archive. We'll be diving into PARA in Module 2. The second component is a set of methods, habits, and practices to capture, organize, distill, and express your ideas. We'll be getting into that in Module 3. And the third is a broader movement and community of people using digital tools to turn their information intake into meaningful projects. It's also helpful to note that building a second brain is not something that's only possible in Notion. You could do this in other apps like Microsoft OneNote, Evernote, or Roam, and a lot of the skills you learn here will be transferable. Throughout this course, you might notice I'll be using the terms personal knowledge management system and second brain interchangeably. In preparation for the next video on the general workflow for interacting with your second brain, we're going to do a quick exercise to map the kinds of inputs and outputs that you intend to use your second brain for. You ready? In the final module of this course, your challenge will be to put everything you've learned into practice in a final project. This quick exercise is going to help you brainstorm what that project might be, as well as provide a map for how you're going to complete it. In various lessons throughout this course, I'm going to ask you to refer back to this exercise. On a piece of vertical paper, draw a brain in the center. There's my really poorly drawn brain. At the top of the page, do a brainstorm of the most common places that you source information from. Maybe it's YouTube tutorials, books, articles or research papers or podcasts. Don't overthink it, just create a list of roughly 3 or more information sources. Next, draw some lines into your second brain to indicate that these are inputs. Then at the bottom of the page, brainstorm what kind of outputs you'd like your second brain to support the creation of. Perhaps you're a student, so write essays. Maybe you have to present information to your team, so write presentations. If you're a music producer or artist, then write song lyrics. Maybe you're a website designer, so write down wireframes. List roughly 3 or more outputs that you aim to commonly produce in your work or personal life, and then draw lines between the brain and your desired outputs. Pause the video now and give this a go. When you're ready, press play again. I'll be right there. Great. How does your diagram look? Take a step back to reflect on it. The goal of your second brain is to make turning those inputs and all the information you digest, your inspirations and your life's experiences, into those outputs as seamlessly and easy as possible through projects. There are potentially hundreds of ways that you could do this, but the way that I'll be outlining to you is just a foundation for you to get started. A common challenge for people who love to learn is that they constantly force feed themselves more and more information, but never actually put it to use. The goals and experiences that would enrich their lives get endlessly postponed, waiting for the right bit of knowledge or to have the perfect organizational system. Another key point I'm trying to make is that your system will never be complete. It will always adapt and evolve with your ever-changing needs and goals, your inputs and your outputs. That's why we should shift as much of our effort as possible from consuming information to creating new things. If you focus on your desired outputs and complete more projects, the methods and systems that I'm about to share in this course will adapt with you. As you go through these videos, you might doubt yourself and feel like, oh, am I doing this right? But don't worry, you're allowed to just do it your way. In fact, I encourage it. You may want to copy what I show you in this course word for word, but bear in mind, in about 6 months from now, your system will look quite different to the template that I will walk you through. And that's okay, because it's becoming adapted to your unique project outputs and goals.